Okay, beginning August 1920. As summer wheat came ripe, so did I. Born at home on the kitchen floor, Ma crouched barefoot, bare-bottomed, over the swept boards because that's where Daddy said it'd be best. Think about that. What just happened right there in that first paragraph? She gave birth. She was born in the kitchen floor. Now, where were you all born at?
In the doctor's office.
At the hospital, right? Imagine having to be born at home.
That happens still today, though.
Every now and then it does.
Yes, it
Listen,
does.
every now and then it does still happen today. In emergencies, will boom, it happened. There was no stopping it. But hey, listen, this is not something to laugh about. It's not even funny. But imagine now, back then, most kids were born at home. So what happens? Are there complications with kids being born at home?
Yes.
Why?
Because
There's no doctor.
There's no doctor. Think about. I mean, a hospital's very sterilized, right? It's very clean. Do you think the kitchen floor was very clean?
No.
Probably not. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Because most of the time in like older houses, they didn't even have floors. Most of the time it was just dirt.
A lot of times it was. You're right. Okay.
But then the doctor could have they could have called them.
They could have.
Happened.
But this one it says she was born over the swept boards, so it's a board floor, right? Because that's where Daddy said it'd be best. So Daddy said, that's the best place to do it. Let's do it right here. Okay, here we go. I came too fast for the doctor, bawling as soon as Daddy wiped his hand around inside my mouth. I hear Ma tell it. I hollered myself red the day I was born. Red's the color I've stayed ever since. What does that mean she's red?
Like she's
Mad?
So have you ever gotten so mad when you were crying that your face turned red, your body, you turned red? Okay. What do you think it means that she's red's the color I've stayed ever since? What do you think that means?
She's always cried. She's always cried because of the dust. She's so angry. She's mad.
Well, now hold it. Pause. Here's one thing. So right now y'all are making inferences, right? We're reading from the text and you're making inferences. Where in there can you infer that she's mad all the time right now?
No.
You can't. What do you think it means?
Like, since you're a baby, usually babies cry a lot. So maybe usually babies don't.
What do you notice at the front of the cover of the book? What can you add?
She has no eyebrows.
No, she has eyebrows.
Where? She does.
Come on, guys, y'all are trying to be silly. What do you notice from the front of the book?
Like she looks mad.
She doesn't look mad to me. What do you think?
She looks kind of upset. Like she's upset.
Like she's
What do you notice about her physical appearance, guys?
like she's a
wearing
girl.
a hat.
Does she
She's
have?
gray. She has short hair.
Okay. What else? Nobody
She
else?
has freckles.
She has freckles. What do we know about people with lots of freckles?
They get mad.
No. What? They have red hair. How do people with freckles get mad?
Ellen Stewart.
Yes. Okay. Lots of freckles usually indicate a red-headed person, right? So red's the color she's always been. So now what do we know more about Billy Joe?
She has red hair.
She has red hair. She has lots of freckles. Okay. Whew. Goodness, that was hard to get y'all to that. Daddy named me Billy Joe. He wanted a boy. Instead, he got a long-legged girl with a wide mouth and cheekbones like bicycle handles. He got a red-headed, freckle-faced, narrow-hipped girl with a fondness for apples and a hunger for playing fierce piano. From the earliest I can remember, I've been restless in this little panhandle shack we call home, always getting in Ma's way with my pointy elbows, my fidgety legs. By the summer I turned 9, Daddy had given up about having a boy. He tried making me do. I look just like him. I can handle myself most everywhere he puts me, even on the tractor, though I don't like that much. Ma tried having other babies. It never seemed to go right, except with me. But this morning, Ma let on how as she's expecting again. What does that mean, expecting?
Like she's gonna have a baby.
She's pregnant. But this morning, other than the 3 of us, there's not much family to speak of. Daddy, the only boy Kelby left since Grandpa died from a cancer that ate up the most of his skin. And Aunt Ellis, almost 14 years older than Daddy, and living in Lubbock, a ways south of here, and a whole world apart, to hear Daddy call it. And Ma, with only great Uncle Floyd, old as ancient Indian bones, and mean as a rattler, rotting away in that room down in Dallas. I'll be nearly 14, just like Aunt Ellis was when Daddy was born, by the time this baby comes. Wonder if Daddy will get his boy this time. January 1934. So how old is she?
She's about whenever the baby.
She's 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says beginning August 1920. That's the day she was born. January 1934. So that's where she starts telling the story. That's why it wanted you to know when she was born, how she was born. But this is where she starts telling the story, January 1934. Okay. The second one, rabbit battles. What's this one going to be about?
It's
Like,
You think about rabbits fighting?
Yeah.
I think like she's trying to tell us like the parents of the rabbits
What do you
and
think?
fighting. About like the rabbits stealing the crop.
The rabbits. Hey, that's a great thought. Let's see. Mr. Noble and Mr. Romney have a bet going as to who can kill the most rabbits.
Okay.
It all started at the rabbit drive last Monday over to Sturgis when Mr. Noble got himself worked up about the damage done to his crop by jacks. Mr. Romney swore he'd had more rabbit trouble than anyone in Cimarron County. They pledged revenge on the rabbit population, wagering who could kill more. They ought to just shut up, betting on how many rabbits they can kill. Honestly, grown men clubbing bunnies to death makes me sick to my stomach. I know rabbits eat what they shouldn't, especially this time of year when they could hop halfway to Liberal and still not find food. But Miss Freeland says if we keep plowing under the stuff they ought to be eating, what are they supposed to do? Mr. Noble and Mr. Romney came home from Sturgis Monday with 20 rabbits apiece, a tie. It should have stopped there, but Mr. Romney wasn't satisfied. He said Noble cheated. He brought in rabbits somebody else killed. And so the contest goes on. Those men, they used to be best friends. Now they can't be civil with each other. They scowl as they pass on the street. I'm scowling too. But scowling won't bring back the rabbits. Won't bring the rabbits back. They're all skinned and cooked and eaten by now. At least they didn't end up in Romney and Noble's cook pots. They went to families that needed the meat. January 1934. So it was about getting rid of the rabbits that are eating the crops. Does that sound like, do you understand why the rabbits were eating the crops?
Well, they hungry.
They didn't have, you saw the pictures of the Dust Bowl. Was there a lot of just flush vegetation for them to eat?
Because if they went halfway, they still wouldn't have food.
Right, if they went halfway to Liberal, which must be a city because it was capitalized with an L, must be a city. If they went halfway there, they still wouldn't find food. So they just had to eat what they could. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to read one more. Losing Livy. Livy Killian moved away. I didn't want her to go. We've been best friends since first grade. The farewell party was Thursday night at the Old Rock Schoolhouse. Livy had something to tease each of us about, like Ray sleeping through reading class and Hillary, who on her speed writing test put an even ton of children instead of an even 10. Would an even ton be a lot? Anybody know how much a ton is?
2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds. Livy said goodbye to each of us separately. She gave me a picture she'd made of me sitting in front of a piano, wearing my straw hat and an apple halfway to my mouth. I handed Livy the memory book we'd all filled with our different slants. I couldn't get the muscles in my throat relaxed enough to tell her how much I'd miss her. Livy helped clean up her own party, wiping spilled lemonade, gathering sandwich crusts, sweeping cookie crumbs from the floor, while the rest of us went home to study for semester reviews. Now, Livy's gone west, out of the dust, on her way to California, where the wind takes a rest sometimes. And I'm wondering what kind of friend I am wanting my feet on that road to another place instead of Livy's. January 1934. So think about what she says. You got something?
Oh, yeah. You know our friend who made her that straw hat? She's wearing the straw hat.
She's wearing the straw hat. So think about what she says right there. What kind of friend am I? What do you think she thinks bad of herself because she's saying, I'd rather be out there on that road out of this dust than her. So if she was on the road, where would that put Livy? Back staying there. So she thinks to herself, God, what kind of friend am I to wish me in her place instead of them? So kind of something interesting to think about. She feels a little guilty, right? So this is a super good book, guys. You will cry in this book. You're going to love it.
Really, you'll cry?